We've talked about setting up your main characters. We've talked about world building. And now it is time we talk about the magical, mystical elements of your movie and how to properly set up. In this case, we'll be talking about Inception, and we'll be talking about more of a scientific elements of this that caused it to have a perfect opening to understanding how to set up the logic in your movie. Hello, extremely intelligent lambs, and welcome back to the Movie Night Reviewer. I'll be your host today, Peter Ware. Today's topic will be on how Inception perfectly set up the scientific elements of its story. Without further ado, let's get started. For those who have not seen this movie before, this will contain spoilers for the first few minutes of Inception. So if you haven't seen that movie yet, I strongly recommend you guys check it out before watching this. While this video might also, if you choose to stay on this video will actually help with understanding that movie when you're first going in, because I took the time to really think over this opening and really explain how this movie works. So without further ado, let's jump into this. So, we're going to be skipping past the very opening scene. The very opening of the movie is a quick moment of the very close to the end of the movie, where I will talk about another video on points in movies and how great it is when movies choose to start with a question mark. This movie, Megamind, movies like that have these question marks to start out, making it so it draws you in because you're wondering what is happening because you start with the end of the movie and you don't understand. So, we're going to skip past that one moment and we're going to jump straight into the minute after that. So, you just see them as older men. Then suddenly, in the same moment, you see them de-age. He's kind of being a businessman. He's saying, you should hire me to protect your memories. When you're sleeping, experience breaking into people's heads and stealing their memories. When they're sleeping, I can show you how it's done. I will make sure that no one can do it. He's using this to and he's telling him that you need to make sure to allow me to know all your secrets so that I can protect you. So the guy leaves the room saying, I will look over your proposal and get back to you. When he leaves the room, the two men start talking to each other, and you figure out that they're actually already in a dream, not just telling him about, hey, when you're in a dream, we can protect you, but they're already in a dream. And they're actually trying to steal some of his memories right now. They were trying to put his guard down so they could steal them. So what do we learn from this very opening moment? We learn, first of all, that the whole story, the whole science in this movie is that it's possible to go into people's dreams and that people hide memories in their dreams. And that there are people who want to steal those memories and use them for blackmail and different stuff like that. Next, we learn, because he starts looking around for a safe, because that's where a lot of times people keep the darkest secrets. How these dreams work is that people can hide their secrets in dark places. They hide their secrets in these safes to keep them away from these thieves that can steal them. It's just your brain is how it works. Leading into that, we also learn very soon after that they can have their own men in these dreams protecting their secrets. They can protect the secrets without the person actually realizing they're properly in a dream. The other elements we learn is that one of the characters in this dream is actually not even a part of that guy's memories. That character is someone from the main character's dreams. That was his wife who died. We learned that there can be other people in the dream that are not that you can have your own memories slip into this dream from the people who are trying to break in. So then we see a whole fight break out and one of the characters gets shot. This is when we have the next element that comes in, right? The other character wakes up. So now we know, okay, so now he's like, oh, so he's in the real world now. So we can learn that if you get shot and you die in that dream, you will wake up. Pretty simple, right? But no. Then we realize that he's actually in another dream. So this is a dream upon a dream. So this is a dream inside of a dream. Now we learn something new, that dreams can be inside dreams. So this adds a whole other layer. In the very opening movie, we just learned a bunch of stuff that's very important in the movie, and later on, they don't really there's very few things they contradict about the whole things they set up in the first few couple minutes. While the story or the plot of this movie is not the best, all the things that people really like from this movie, the whole how this world works, how the scientific elements work in this movie, is set up in the first couple minutes, and it's perfectly set up, and you understand if you die in a dream, you will wake up in the next level. But there's also you can have multiple layers on dreams. Dreams can be on dreams. Dreams, if something happens in the other dream, it will happen in that world. You see a character gets dunked into water, and the moment that character gets dunked into water, you see water start pouring into the dream below. The dream above that dream can get water pouring down into that dream because it's the dream below the dream. So now you know that there can be at least two dreams on top of each other, and that the dream below it can be affected by the dream above it. Okay, well then we learn that how you can wake up from a dream. You wake up from a dream by, of course, being shot and being killed. Is one way they wake up from the dream. There's also the kick, they call it. The feeling of, we all know this feeling, right? When you wake up from a dream because you're in a car, right? And there's a bump on the road, right? Suddenly you get knocked back awake. If I'm sitting in a chair right now, if I lean the chair back and I'm sleeping, boom, it will cause me to wake up because I'm just jerked back, and there's this feeling of your body will naturally, the moment it feels like it's going to fall, it's gonna boom, wake up. That's how it works. So it makes sense why this would work this way. So there's an element of this, the kick, and there's being killed. There's two ways you can wake up. There's the way of the one dream getting, as we said before, this dream getting destroyed by the dream above it. When that dream gets destroyed and the person dies, boom, they wake up in the next dream. Now we're going to move on to the next thing, right? So that means you can have multiple dreams. What do we also learn from this moment? Then we realize that we are actually not in the man's dream that you're trying to steal the memories from, but we're actually in the dream of someone else. The person who are stealing the stuff is actually the one who's making the dream. They make a dream puzzle for you and they put the people in the dream puzzle, and they're trying to make it as close as they can to that person's life so that they won't expect that it's actually not their dream. So it's actually not their dream, it's someone else's dream. It's the dream of the person who's stealing the stuff, and they just believe it's their dream. If this is too much information for once, you can rewatch this video a couple times over and try to write down as much as you can. Or you can just watch the movie. It gets really confusing how many different layers are on this, but so we learn that, right? We learn that you can feel pain in these dreams based on that when one of the characters gets shot, they actually feel the pain. When, again, with the whole thing when the guy leaned back and knocked into the dream above that dream, he actually felt the feeling of being knocked back. So you can actually feel pain in the dream. Later on in the movie, we actually figured out that you can die in dreams and you will be put in limbo. Now, I will talk about that whole thing later because some people might think that's a contradiction. I'll show you how it's not a contradiction. Anyways, so the other thing we learn is that people who are in these dreams can actually remember the dreams after they wake up. So this person they're trying to rob, actually when he wakes up, he still knows who these people are and knows that they were in his dream. Now, for the movie, you see how they can actually use ways by just making it seem like this is just a dream, forget it. Like, they try to do everything in their power because, as we talked about before, where the other people can attack them in the dreams. In that way, if you make sure not to overly mess around with the dream and all too much and make them feel threatened, the moment they feel threatened, the people who are their bodyguards, basically. The people who are building up, the other characters building up their dream, will attack you. So you have to make sure to be careful, because if this moment they start realizing that this is not just an ordinary dream, then they will attack. As they still believe that they're just in a weird dream, they won't attack because they just don't see a reason why they're to attack. That's how you do it. You have to make sure to be careful not to make it so they know it's a dream and you can get away with it. So that's what we learn. So overall, what can we learn from this, right? So from the elements of just what I just spoke about, a lot I just put in a very short time. I could go into a lot more depth about these things. You can probably find thousands of other YouTube videos talking about going into depth on how each of these work. This is a very brief idea of how the dreams work, stack on stack and all that kind of stuff. Quickly, I'm going to mention the whole thing about later on they have it so you can actually die in dreams. I don't believe that's actually a contradiction, because of the reason that it's not the reason. They clearly explain in that the reason why you could die in the dream now is because of the drug they had to use that puts you out for a long time. It made it so that you can't wake up. The drug they put in made it so you can't properly wake up if you die in that dream. So you would go to limbo, because your mind will be stuck in that sleep, but it won't have a place to be because it's already dead in that world. So it would just go into limbo, where all of the junk from dreams go. That, again, I could go to a whole video talking about all the scientific elements of this movie and how the logic works and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, that's not what I'm going to do, because it would take way too long to go into that. But I just want to explain that quickly, that's why that works, and it's actually not a contradiction. Okay, so again, what can we learn from this? From the scientific elements and all, and how the logic works, we learned a lot. But I'm going to talk about it because I'm a movie critic, and I'm someone who wants to talk about it from the elements of how to make great stories. So I'm not just going to be talking from the logic elements. This is what's so great about this. As I talked about before in that previous video where I'm talking about how you should set up your intro, the important things about setting up good and understanding how the logic of this world works is that the moment you understand that, then nothing, when something crazy happens later on, like in the instance of where they added in that you can actually die, when you look back at the beginning, it makes sense why it would work that way. When you make it clear how the logic of this story works, then when you add new stuff in, it will be okay. As I talked about in that previous video, I said if you added mystical creatures into the beginning of your story, then if you added more mystical creatures in, it would make sense. But if this story started and it said you can go into people's dreams, and you can only go into one layer of people's dreams, and if you die in the dream, you'll die in real life. Then later on, when it says, hey, we can actually go into 3 layers of people's dreams, if you die, you go into limbo. If they added tons of extra stuff in, it won't make as much sense. Yeah, maybe it will make sense the whole dying thing, because you set up in the beginning that in no case can you survive if you die in this world. So that's the one element that you actually got from the original that could have still worked. But most of those things where it goes into layers of multiple dreams, how the dream works, how it's not their dreams, it's your dreams, all that wouldn't make sense if you started out this story by saying that. If you started out by just giving these generic ideas that made the rest of the story not work, you had to start out by saying that if they just started with one layer of dreams, if they went, it would feel like out in the ball field if they suddenly had 3 layers of dreams. But if they started out with 2 layers of dreams, then seeing the 3 layers sounds more believable. Okay, so they just added a 3rd layer. That makes sense. So that's one element, right? They set it up in the beginning how the dreams work, how they keeping them in safes, all that type of stuff. They set up how the magic works, so that later on when you hear about all this extra stuff, it's not dropping tons of stuff on you suddenly later on. It's putting it all on you in the beginning when your mind is most clear going into the movie. You want to put not too much information. Now this movie might have put too much information for most people on their heads. I personally found that I picked on most of that stuff very quickly and understood how it worked. And by the end of the movie, I felt like, yes, you did a good job. I perfectly understood how it worked when I saw the movie. But most people might find that's a problem. But as stories go, I feel like this does a great job with that. Making sure that you understand how the elements work when going in. So what can we learn? We can learn that, again, as I said before, set up as much of your elements, your like mystical, magical, scientific elements, how the logic of the world works in the beginning, so that if you throw something new at them that fits in that category, a new power, a new scientific rule that goes with this, all this type of stuff, it makes sense. If you set up a realistic type world, if you randomly have something magical happen halfway through the movie, it's not going to work. If you set up a world where it's very scientific type, where it's very like sci-fi type thing, like this movie, having more sci-fi type stuff come up later works. So that's what we can learn from this. You need to make sure to set up as much of that sci-fi, as much of that magic, much of that fantasy type magic stuff in the beginning, so that people understand going in that they don't feel like you just had a ball coming from a mile away. Just suddenly, we want this too. We want that. We want this and that. I want, when you see these elements come up, it feels realistic. Okay, thank you guys for watching this long. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Can you think of other movies that are a good example of this? Tell me if you think of any movies you're like, oh my goodness, this is a terrible example of how to do your magical, scientific type elements in your movie and how the logic works. I will put out a video next week about how Days of Future Past does a bad job, not mainly just with that one movie, but suddenly giving certain characters powers that they did not have before. So again, thank you guys for watching. Remember, try for 10, get at least 5 new subscribers. And I want to quickly mention something, right? So if you're feeling like no one else is going to do it, no one else is going to try to get these 10 subscribers, or like try to, not everyone's going to try to get these 5 subscribers, try for 10 type thing. Just feel free to be the only one doing it. If you're the only one doing it, that's still going to make a difference. Think of it this way, right? You invite 5 friends, right? Those 5 friends now invite 5 friends. Now we have 25 new subscribers. Then those 25 new subscribers managed to find 5 friends. That is 125 new subscribers. Then those 125 new subscribers managed to get 5 new subscribers. That's 625 new subscribers. Then those 625 new subscribers managed to get 5 new subscribers each. And now we're at 3,125. And you get the point. Then those 3,125 new subscribers managed to get 5 subscribers each. That's 15,625. You get the point? You can, even if you are the only one who managed to do it, you can make a difference. Don't worry about the other people if they don't manage to do it. If you manage to do it, yes, it will take a little bit longer, right? If everyone does it, it will take till next week to get to the 100, while it will take 3 weeks if you're the only one doing it to get to the 100 mark. and it will take 5 weeks to get to the 1,000 mark, and it will take only 3 weeks if everyone did it. So try for everyone to do it. But if you feel like I'm not doing it, that you're not going to do it because you feel like no one else is going to do it, it might take a little longer, but every single viewer you manage to get counts. So don't feel like pressured to not do it because no one else is doing it. Try it for yourself. If you can manage to get it, then you can bother trying to get more subscribers after that. But all you have to worry about is, do I know 5 people that I can invite? All you need to do is invite 5 people, and then it's up to those 5 people you invited to invite 5 people. And then those 25 people, you get the point. It goes on and on and on. You only have to worry. You don't have to worry about inviting 15,000 people. You only have to worry about inviting 5 people. And those 5 people will worry about their 25. And those 5 people, and those 25 people will worry about their 125. You get the point? Though, you don't have to worry about that. They have to worry about the 5. You only have to worry about 5. They only have to worry about 5. Everyone only has to worry about 5. But again, I would love it if you guys could try for 10. It'd be awesome because then it would be even higher. But if you guys can only get 5, try to get 5. We could grow this channel a lot, and not just that, but again, I might even put on a t-shirt sometime. We want to spark more creative minds. Let's spark those creative minds. Let's get more creative people to actually make great movies, so that we can have good movies again. Because the fact of the matter is, again, Hollywood is going downhill. Let's hope that we can help it. Even if it's not Hollywood anymore, we can help the entertainment industry to go back up again. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe, share again, 5. Try to share with 5. Like, comment below your thoughts on this video or any other videos. Remember, once we reach the 100, I'll answer 100 questions of you guys. So if you guys think about any questions, ask those questions down below. Once we reach 100, I will answer 100 of those questions. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Movie Net Review. Peter Wary, signing off.